From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
The new Spirits will be up and running in time for the summer peak at the end of next year. But as the construction timeline for the new berth is locked in, it comes with an enormous cost blowout attached.
At the business end of a long-running and internationally embarrassing saga, finally some smoother sailing for the Spirit of Tasmania upgrade.
The good news from today is that the recovery phase is completed.
A contract signed this week has the new berth 3 ready by October next year, 4 months early, with a new estimated cost of $493 million, $120 million more than the last estimate, and not remotely close to the $90 million originally budgeted.
You really have to ask where in anybody's world could that figure have come from.
As for how that initial figure was reached,
we had a number from Tasports and just rounded up effectively in the very early days before any design work had been done.
Even though pile driving at the new berth is authorised to continue 24 hours a day, it'll be scaled back to reduce impact on Devonport residents, unless it drifts behind schedule. Spirit 4 soon departs its Scottish berth, arriving in Hobart mid-July for final fit-out, but where it will go from there still isn't known.
Almost been inundated by expressions of interest from other ports around Australia. So we haven't dismissed that, but obviously we want to look at Tasmania in the first option. But the vessel can easily go to anchor out in the river.
It seems leasing the ship was never a viable option.
If we'd been able to make Spirit 4 available for 5 years, we'd have got someone to lease it straight away, but we were never able to do that.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A food delivery driver has escaped injury after he was allegedly carjacked and threatened at knife point in Hobart's northern suburbs last night. Authorities are still trying to locate the suspects, calling on anyone with information to come forward. The frightening incident has sparked concern amongst other drivers.
A quiet suburban street, the scene of an armed robbery late last night. A delivery driver allegedly carjacked and held at knife point in Gagebrook. He was completing delivery to a Briar Crescent home around 11 p.m. when he was threatened by a group, one accused of being armed with a knife. Police allege the trio took off with his car keys, cash and mobile phone in his gold Suzuki Liana. Officers searched Gagebrook and Brighton areas where they later found the car abandoned in this bushland off Baronia Place. Authorities are now urging anyone with information on the vehicle to come forward. Luckily, the driver was not injured during the ordeal, but the incident has sparked anger among other fed-up delivery drivers, saying it happens too often.
I've been assaulted from a customer in town and one in Risdonvale.
Frequently exposed to both verbal and physical abuse.
Call me names and, threaten for my life.
Many not knowing what they'll face when they knock on the door.
It's actually very unsafe because you don't know who you deliver to. So you don't really know what kind of people you can meet.
Police haven't confirmed which company the driver works for. Uber has confirmed the man wasn't an employee. DoorDash was also contacted for comment. The police minister also reaffirming a tougher stance on callous crime, saying strong action is being taken to get dangerous weapons off our streets. Police are still hunting the 3 suspects and urge anyone with information to come forward. Rebecca Gaidenera, 7 Tasmania News.
A senior government minister has been forced to admit he got the McQuary Point Stadium costings wrong. It follows mounting pressure over transparency, with the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra joining the choir of growing concerns over the project.
Fronting the House yesterday evening, Minister Abetz confessed when he said this on local radio.
When the Premier announced the election on Valentine's Day last year, he said 375 capital cost plus borrowings.
That he got it wrong.
But the fact it was my honest and genuine belief does not make it correct.
Now fending off accusations of covering up this election promise.
The $375 million will be invested and not 1 cent more.
The government insists voters should have read this fine print on page 65 of the business case, setting out an $85 million loan to be repaid with later land sales.
We stand by our commitment that the capital investment will be capped at $375 million.
The question of whether borrowings are still taxpayer funds, an exercise in semantics.
He lied to Tasmanians. The Tasmanian taxpayer is going to pay for the lot.
This is an abhorrent attempt by the government to deceive Tasmanians into believing that they can afford this stadium.
Meanwhile, the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra, a public supporter of the stadium project, has raised serious concerns. It says it will cost $4.4 million to soundproof the concert hall and believes either the government or the Macquarie Point Development Corporation should foot the bill.
$2.35 million is in capital costs, which will be the upgrades to this building, and the rest deals with all of the management issues that we'll be facing here.
Stadium scrutiny set to continue for the Premier.
I think his career's on the line, I think the stadium's on the line and the teams are on the line.
Whether he likes it or not. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Well, as Supercars roared alive at Symmons Plains, school students have been busy rubbing shoulders with their favourite drivers. They went trackside for all the action and to witness the behind-the-scenes race preparations.
Swapping the classroom for pit lane.
It's pretty cool. I like the seats and all the aerodynamics and stuff. I think it sounds really loud and cool.
Motorsport magnets hitting up team garages right in the thick of the action.
The motors are really cool and loud. It's my first time at the Supercars, so it's a really cool experience to watch all the cars and listen to the motors and see.
Learning all the tricks of the trade, today's lesson, insider knowledge from the professionals themselves.
That car's really light. They said like a 1,300 kilo or something, so that's pretty impressive. I don't know how they do it.
For Supercar champions of tomorrow, today's a taste of what's to come.
Been here since I was 3. I like the Supercars because they're loud and one day wanting to be a supercar driver.
I do want to. And a chance for some sound advice from those who know what it takes.
So you've got to have dreams, but you can't have too much star in the eye. You've got to get on with the hard work and to make that dream come true.
The drivers themselves fuelled by the fuss before hitting the track.
An amazing turnout down here in Tasmania. It's one of my favourite events of the year, and feels like yesterday I was a young one here some 20 odd years ago.
One thing's for sure, these young fans are ready and rearing to go, hoping to catch a glimpse of their favourites.
I'm really excited to see Chaz Mostert and all of the supercar drivers.
I can't wait to see Chaz Mostert in action.
Cam Waters and Maddie Payne.
But for some, it's not about who's behind the wheel, rather the 4 wheels on the track.
I'm a Ford man. Don't like Chevy or Holden or anything like that.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Nearly $130,000 was donated across Tasmania during Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. The She Gynecological Group says it's the most successful February to date, with record funds raised.
Great awareness and also much needed funds to help us, build our wellness centre, which will be in the hospital precinct of Hobart.
Major events included the Jack Jumpers' sold-out Teal Round. The Coroner's Court has rejected calls for an inquest into the death of Marjorie Harwood, who died after being housed in Risdon Men's Prison despite identifying as a woman. Her family has vowed to continue fighting for better rights to protect transgender prisoners.
7 years after her daughter Marjorie's death, Rosemary Hardwood's met another hurdle on her journey for justice.
I'm very disappointed that the coroner has found that there is insufficient evidence for an inquest to be held. I'm considering my options and will continue to fight for Marjorie and for all other transgender people held in prison.
Marjorie Harwood died after refusing dialysis recommended to her for a medical condition. It follows extensive periods of prison time where she was housed in Risdon despite being transgender. Heartbreaking claims of sexual assault and rape inside prison have been made by family and friends who were hoping a coronial inquest might give them some answers.
None of this stuff happened when it should have happened, and we'd like to know why, because as a result of it, Marjorie gave up on life. rather than go back to prison.
In her decision, Coroner Olivia McTaggart concludes there wasn't enough evidence for an inquest, rejecting the family's claims that Marjorie died by suicide, saying that declining to accept medical treatment for a terminal natural disease is not suicide.
One of the issues is that complaints weren't made. Prisoners do not always make complaints, even about serious assaults. They won't talk about it, and for obvious reasons.
Calls now falling on the Attorney-General to step in, but a government spokesperson says it is a matter for the coroner and that Tasmania's prison service has a detailed policy for transgender prisoners.
Clearly, something is wrong in the prison service and it needs to be addressed.
I do think about it every day. I mean, I'm angry with myself because I wasn't there to protect her.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
More defibrillators have been rolled out across the state, 90 spanning rural and regional areas from Nabola, Southport, Rosebery and Binnelong Bay. Ambulance Tasmania says having the device can be the difference between life and death.
They are absolutely life-saving and they will buy time so that we can arrive and then begin our treatment.
They'll be available in community centres, businesses, cafes, shops.
Since 2014, 360 of the devices have been installed around Tasmania. The Archbishop of Hobart has labelled the appointment of Pope Leo XIV a surprise. Julian Porteous welcoming Chicago's Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost to the role, confident the new Pope's time in South America will make him a good fit.
I think really wants to be one who builds bridges, he wants to reach out, he wants to have a whole missionary focus to the world.
The Archbishop says he's now excited to return to Hobart to share and celebrate the news. It's a national educational tool on wheels which has completed the equivalent of 90 laps around the planet, giving young drivers an insight into life on the road. Loaded with simulators, the Steering the Future truck pulled into Prospect High School, teaching students how to safely interact with heavy vehicles.
It's been a good experience to get to know all the safety about trucks and how to sort of position your car on the road so you don't sort of interfere with them.
Any driver will interact with a heavy vehicle on the road nearly on a daily basis, yet there is nothing in their learner handbook or that they need to do to prove that they are either competent or confident.
The latest stop is part of the Tasmanian Transport Association's Road Safety Initiative.
Well, we're nearing kick-off in the opening match of the Tasmanian Rugby Union season, and there's a real buzz around tonight. Lily Thompson's at Hobart's Rugby Park, and Lily, there are some grand plans to grow the game here in Tassie.
Well, there sure is, Nick, and it's set to be a huge game tonight with the Lions taking on the Roosters. To talk through what's ahead in the game of rugby in Tasmania is the new General Manager, Jeff Quick. Hi, Jeff. Can you talk us through a little bit about the ambitions for the sport?
Ambitions for the sport are obviously growth. We need to grow through a very strong junior base. We need to get more eyes on the sport. Visibility is key. So we're looking to really grow at grassroots level.
Can you talk us through numbers that you have at the moment?
Right at the moment, we're sitting at about 450 registrations for the 2025 season. That's tracking well above same time last year, and we're on track to be the best ever year in terms of registration.
Now, I know it's a big game here tonight. We've got the Lions taking on the Roosters, and I know you won't want to give away your favourite, but can you tell us who we should keep an eye on for?
Well, luckily enough, I don't have a favourite, but if you were to pick the favourites for the competitions, it would always be probably Launceston and Taroona. Devonport will be in there. On the women's side, Harlequins are the defending champions, and Burnie have reformed after having a year off last year as the 2023 champions. But the great part about it is it's the start of a brand new season. Everyone's coming in on 0 points, no expectation, and anything can happen.
Perfect. It'll be an exciting game tonight. Have fun.
Thank you.
Well, there's plenty of ambition, Nick, on and off the field like we've heard there, but it'll be a huge game with the round one games continuing over the weekend.
Thanks, Lee. Enjoy the game tonight. Third of the way through the season, and Tasmanian soccer has more than one goal in mind. A top-of-the-table clash will see South Hobart travel to face Devonport in a celebration of what women contribute to the game.
We really love to see more females get involved, and especially through junior groups.
In the NPL, South Hobart coach Max Clark is hoping to bring a fresh perspective while still honouring his predecessor Ken Morton's legacy as a match-up against the Strikers awaits.
As much as they loved Ken, they were ready for a change. They wanted to hear a different voice and potentially pick up some new ideas, and it's been a healthy one.
A win will see them cement top spot on the ladder. It's only practice today, but the notorious Symmons Plains hairpin is already causing headaches for drivers, the Tasmanian Super 440. No such worries for Brock Feeney though, quickest in both sessions, leading in all Chevrolet top 7.
Just driving this joint, like turn 1, 2, 3, it's a lot of fun. Like it's, you know, you're locking up, you're hanging on to the car around here, and then you got all straight to think about where you're going to brake, and I like braking late. So.
Adam Garwood stamping his authority on his home track with a cruisy win in the Touring Car Masters Trophy. Yeah, there should be plenty of action tomorrow, Kim. In case you can't tell, the spills are my favourite part of the sport.
Yeah, especially a good one at the hairpin. Thanks very much, Nick. Well, Murphy's back and he'll join us after the break with a weather forecast.
Good evening. Another above average temperature day today. Hobart 19, Launceston reached 18, Devonport and Burnie 17 degrees. Fingal, Friendly Beaches and Hobart Airport, the top of 20. Bushy Park 19. Grove 18, Low Head along with King and Flinders Island 17 degrees. Strawn 16 with Lyawini a top of 12. A bit of patchy low cloud over the west today. Some scattered cloud developed over the northeast, and a little bit later on we have a little bit of high cloud over the southeast of the state. So plenty to talk about, but no rain. Coastal Victoria found a cloud or two as well. Onshore winds brought cloud and showers up along the eastern seaboard, and a little more there over the top end. Tomorrow the high slowly moves over the Tasman Sea while troughs lie through parts of Western Australia. We will have west to northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots, but up to 30 knots over the west and south, with swells to 3.5 metres. And in the south, a strong wind warning applies from Tasman Island around to Low Rocky Point. Saturday in Hobart, cloudy and 18 degrees, just 14 for Medina, 70% chance of a shower, partly cloudy for Oatlands, 16 the high. Launceston 18, fine and partly cloudy, becoming cloudy over Devonport 18 as well. Lyawini 1 overnight, a top of 13. 18 for Burnie, showers easing from Strawn, 11 overnight to 16 and 17 the high for Marrawar with just a shower or two. St Helens fine and partly cloudy, 18, 19 for Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, a fine sunny day apart from just a shower or two over Strawn, a possible shower over King Island, otherwise fine on Monday. And on Tuesday, a few showers over the west and plenty of cloud for the rest of the state. Fine in Perth tomorrow, sunny in Adelaide and Melbourne, a shower for Sydney, 24 and a shower or two in Brisbane, sunny and 33 in Darwin. Partly cloudy in Hobart, it's 13 in Lonnie now and 13 right now in Devonport. Lucky to be here with you, Kim, coming in tonight. I found that Kaya Wicks had barricaded herself in the weather office. I broke in and she's got a hand stuck to the keyboard and mouse. Lucky I don't know how to use a computer.
I love the way you come back for one night. What a hero. And that is all your news for this Friday. Thanks for joining us this week. Good night, everyone.